Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of the King's Court. Myself, George Brown, Mandus Buckle, and we have a special guest, Omar Ventura, in the building. Oh, what's up?
What's up? What's up? What's going on?
How you feeling, man? How you feeling? What's going on the West Coast?
West Coast. I'm tired. I'm always tired. You know, sleep.
Man.
I sleep at 1, wake up at 4:30, and
that's hard work, man. Where OJ at?
The team. OJ's with his mom.
Okay.
Hey, Omar, I got an interesting question for you. So when we travel, we're in the Midwest. When we travel east, easy to adjust to scheduling, sleeping patterns. When I go out west, man, it takes me multiple days to get back into my routine. Plus, when I spend time out there, I always feel like I'm way behind. Because you guys are 2 hours behind us and 3 hours behind the East Coast. Most of the people, half their day is over when you guys are getting up. How do you adjust to that?
Well, when you got guys named Lucky Libra and Raymond, I mean, these guys are texting me 3 a.m. their time. For me, that's midnight. Some of them will text me at 4. Maybe I'll get a text from George hella early. I'm still up. Blessed to my wife. I mean, she's accepting of all the times that I get my calls and stuff like that. I'm adjusted all the time. Once my phone goes off, I'm good to go.
Do you run into that traveling too? Like when you come out east or into the Midwest and you go home, does it throw you off, or you're pretty quick to get back into your routine?
No, I'm pretty quick to get routine.
Yeah.
I had my first child at 20. Which was almost 22 years ago. And, you know, that matures you quick. I was up at 5 o'clock picking up the baby, taking her to daycare. So my time's been off for the last 2 decades, man.
Yeah, I know about that, man. For people who don't know you, right, just give us a quick rundown of, you know, how you got involved in bodybuilding and how you got into the men's physique or just coaching, period, doc.
Oh man, that's where do I start? I started competing in 2001. I was coached by a local athlete. He ended up getting Mr. California way back. He was the man. All credit and all love to him. But he kept me low. Like he said, when I go pro, you're gonna go pro, and it just made me think like, how are you gonna coach someone to think that I'm gonna be here, you're gonna be down here? I wanted that, hey, I'm going to take you as far as you can go, not as far as you can go below me. So I took that into consideration every time I coach myself. It's like, if I'm focused on one athlete, I'm going to make sure I could take them as far as they can go without comparing them to anyone, even myself. So I competed back in 2001. I didn't even place that well. I don't think I won my first show for 4 years. And then during that time, it was funny because I started looking good, and I felt I was looking good. So I had some guy take pictures of me, some nice professional pictures of me, and then I made my little portfolio. I went over to the Olympia in 2002, and I distributed my portfolio, well, not even like a resume, to like Muscle Tech, Nutrex, Optimum Nutrition, only 6 companies back at the Olympia. And then I got 2 responses from Nutrex and Optimum Nutrition. And then they offered me a sponsorship to use my pictures. And next thing you know, I'm in the magazines, and then people see me at the gym or just around town. And they were like, hey man, you're the guy from the magazine. I want to look like you. So I just took my little bit of knowledge and just started helping people, pro bono. Next thing you know, the guy I helped, he ended up winning a show. And then this guy won a show. Then that guy won a show. Next thing you know, I'm a coach. So I just took information based on the data that I got, and then I just worked into my own system from what I learned from my old coach, And actually, my first coach, I hired his coach, and then he schooled me down with a bunch of information on how to actually coach athletes from day one all the way to game day, even after game day. So that's just a little fraction of how I got started in the game.
All right, and I met you. I went to California. That was my first time in Cali.
Right.
I was Sacramento pro, and you've been the same for all of these years. It's besides the evolution or whatever, but just mentoring and always been an ultimate competitor. And like to me, you invented the men's physique style of posing. Tell us about that. Like, were you just a good poser in bodybuilding because there was no men's physique out there, but or did you just kind of just trailblaze?
I was a b-boy. I was a break dancer
Okay.
back in 1983. So I knew how to move. My cousins were bad poppers and lockers. My brother as well. So I could see the body move, and I liked how certain angles looked on certain people. And then we just played with it. We watched, like a Mark Anthony, Bobby Ashers, a lot of the OGs in men's physique, and we saw how they presented themselves. And then I ended up coaching a guy named Johnny Sebastian, you may have heard of, Tori Woodward. Now those guys, Tori's got smooth rhythm. Johnny's also smooth. So they had two different body types. So it allowed me that platform of working with a short dude with a thick body and a slender guy with muscle. So I was able to make them different. Tori could go straight on. Johnny had to twist because he's blocky and shorter with a wide waist. But Tori could get away with it because he was just smooth. Johnny was more angles, feet positioning. Um, so that's how I got started with it because Tori went pro in 2012. Johnny went pro 2013. And those guys are I would say, the godfathers of posing in men's physique, at least.
I agree, man. I stole from them both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about this long competition that's been going on out there on the West Coast between Ventura and Zero Gravity. You guys are the two top teams really on the West Coast for a long time, especially in one specific division. You guys have had dozens and dozens and it might be in the hundreds of athletes go against each other now.
Yeah.
Is it just good, healthy competition? Have there been times where it's turned a little ugly and came back? Give us a little story about the history of that rivalry. This is a good. I mean, I think another rivalry that's that close to it. In bodybuilding they have Aceto and Farah, but in this division, it right now, I mean, the longest lasting rivalry is you two.
I mean, I could give a politically correct answer. I could give
we don't want that, man. We want the real. Come on, man.
I could give an egotistical answer. I'll just keep it real. I like Ryan. I could text him. He could respond. He could record my guys when I'm not there because he's always there. I'm not always there. He'll record some of the first call outs for me and send it to me. Same thing for Ryan Hinton and Terry Placker, even Ariel, a lot of the guys. But specifically Zero Gravity, I mean, I got to be honest. I look up to those guys that coach, even yourself. Like, you guys coach the best in the world. With Zero Gravity, I appreciate his hustle. Like, this guy loves his athletes. You have to, I have to give it up to him. I appreciate when someone at Ryan's level loves what he does, loves his athletes, loves everyone that walks to the gym, that shows any type of interest of, hey, I want you to coach me. I want to be part of the Zero Gravity. I'm like, damn. So that makes me elevate my game. So as far as competing and all that, here it goes. You don't have a Ray and Dre, He don't. Yes. Nobody really does. Because those two, we'll talk about them in depth later, but nobody in the world has them except me, And Zero Gravity doesn't have them, but he has other shit I don't have. A gym, a fucking moving gym, clout at all the shows. I'm never backstage at any show. Arnold, Olympia, A local, I'm not backstage. You know why? Because I coach my style, he coaches his. So I'm gonna learn what he does as much as I can, but I'll never lose focus on what I do. Is I'm gonna get my guys prepared when I'm not there. So that's the way I see zero gravity. You know, I'm gonna use you. I'm gonna use you, Mandus. I'm gonna use. I won't say not hot. I don't want to say Honey. No. Like Ariel, Terry, Ryan Hinton. Those dudes coming up, right? So I'm gonna use that as my lifter. I'm not gonna say you're my rival. Not even zero gravity. Nobody's my rival. I'm just gonna use you as my lifter because if your guys are coming up, I'm gonna make sure my guys know they need to come up or keep going up. You know, so that's my outlook on coaches, teams, or whatever. But my focus, my guys, and George.
Yeah, man.
George is the only guy that gets cobbler. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I do get the compliment. I appreciate it too. Now,
oh shoot, was I supposed to say anything? No, I'm just
now, but just to your answer, if you guys don't know, like he never holds anybody back. You just always trying to make everybody better. Seeing what you can learn from one person, and a lot of people they go into the situation. Like you said, in competition instead of like, no, we don't have to be in competition. If you're doing something well that I'm not doing, then I can learn from that. You know what I mean? And if you're not thinking like that, then really you're limiting yourself. So that's just one thing I done picked up from you through the years I know you. Just as far as being a parent, just like you said, you was 20, I was 19 when I had mine. So a lot of the mindset from just having to get the job done, having responsibilities early in life, I picked that up, but. Just since the time I know you, that's just how you've been. And I've taken that and it's helped me out, to my advantage. So, yeah, we'll get more into it. Man, did you got something?
No, I just say, are we going to have Omar stick around?
Yeah, we're going to have him stick around real quick. We're about to go to
Hold on. Babe, can I? She said it's cool.
Happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
All right, look, 2 seconds. We'll be right back with the King's Court. See you guys in a sec. And we are back from commercial break. Myself, Omar Ventura, our special guest, and Mandus Buckle, for you guys who don't know. And we are getting right into our questions now for this show. And the first one is sitting out a year smart? Let's let Omar start. What do you think about that?
I think it all depends. If I look at you, skin's thin, muscles popping, you just look sick, you're going to keep going until you lose. If you need more than 3 body parts to work on, you're going to take some time off. My opinion, straight simple. I can tell if you're going to do damage right off the bat from where you left off on your last show, or if you need to work on a few things. That's my opinion.
So, like, say you tell a guy, hey man, you need to sit or whatever, and they say no, I want to run. Like, do you go against that, or do you just let them, do what they want to do?
I want to hear them out. Explain to me why. If you have the finances to do it, you have a budget. There's a girl wants you to only do a certain amount of things. You guys traveling later on. If you need to do them, I'm all for it. If you have an agenda, I'm gonna listen to it first and foremost. Then I'll hear you. I'll look to the side and come up with my plan. We'll share each other's ideas, and then we'll take it from there.
Man, what do you think?
I think it's real easy, man. You find out what is this person's goal, what is their goal, and from there you put the game plan together. Some guys need a year, some guys don't need a year. Mm-hmm. That's it. And if you need the time, you need the time. Now, in a men's physique division, you usually don't need that much time off. Very few guys need 12 months off and then get ready to prep. And if so, it's usually early in their career. You know, if you're already a top level national guy or an IFBB pro, you don't need 12 months off. You don't need 12 months off. You may need 8 or 9, you know, but you don't need to. And if you need 12, you were probably one of the guys who got it at the very beginning, and you don't meet the mold of the criteria now, so you're way behind in the muscle development stages. But other than that,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that come into consideration too. Like, did you just go pro? Did you just go pro in the Masters division? Did you just where do you live? A lot of stuff comes into consideration for me, especially finances. That's number one, because it's gonna just gonna drain your wallet. And then if you keep losing and losing and losing, or if you barely won your pro card, um, some of you might as well stay in the amateurs. You know, so taking a year off, this and that, like Mandus said, I agree with him 100%. It's not that hard to decide that. But
Yeah,
again,
I just think,
it's just hard. Oh, sorry, it's telling another grown man what to do.
yeah.
That's one of the hard parts of being a coach.
Yeah, but I mean that's what the coaches do. You know, they tell you what to do. You know, so if you got a coach that you trust in, man, you should go kind of off of what they say. Because I didn't see. I'm not gonna say any names. I didn't see guys like I don't think that you should. I mean, I think as long as you're depending a little bit, just depending like if you're really lagging on a body part, of course, but you should, if you're a pro, be able to catch that body part up, some part without taking an entire year off. Because when you leave, you're gone. Any momentum you had is gone. Or, guys have placed well in shows, but because they may have not won that show or beat a particular person to where they think they were, they sat an entire year, and to me, that's retarded. Like, I'm not sitting. So the year that you're sitting out, the people that are competing, they're still working out. They're still eating food. So it's not like you're gaining anything on them, like they're just sitting and chilling because they're in a cut. So I think that, once you're in there, I mean, like you said, depending on finances and whatever strategy, if you're in the mix, I don't think you should sit out, at all. That's just my opinion.
picking a national show. How do guys determine what show? You've got a lot of options. You got Junior USAs, Junior Nationals, Universe, Masters Nationals, USAs, Amateur Olympia, North Americans, then Amateur Olympia, then Nationals. Got a lot of options.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And guys determine where they should go, when they should compete.
And one of the first questions you ask after they go pro is, where do you live? Right? You should already know where they live. And if there's a show right around the corner, there's a certain way you can look at it. It's like you can get buried in your pro debut at your hometown, or you could take some time off to think about it.
But how do you pick a national show? So a young guy coming up, a young NPC guy, how is he picking what national show he should do? George?
I'll go.
Okay, I'll go because I was like that. I came in the sport, I didn't know anything, like nothing, and so I got with the person who did, and I was like, well, everybody wants the fastest route to a pro card. I didn't even really know what that was. I was just kind of messing around, and it was you do this show, you do this show, this show. So it was like the local shows that qualified you. You kind of stayed in front of that judging panel in your region, and then I went to North Americans because that was in my region. So my strategy was to stay in front of the same judging panel so they can see my progression and hopefully put myself in the best position when I got to a national show to do well.
Go ahead, Mandus.
I'm a guy at that level. You know, in the IFBB, you come up with a game plan, you have a strategy, you have multiple show runs. Whether you're running for the Olympia or if you're a guy who's maybe an older guy or first or second year, and you're not going to the O, but you need to get in there and get your knuckles dirty, get your eye bloody. You're gonna pick a couple of shows within a certain region. In the NPC level, you don't know, So I think you have to look at strategy as well as when they might be ready, and then economics last. Because most guys, what I like to do is set you up for 2 shows. And the reason I look at 2 shows is because if you go and do a show and you look absolutely fantastic, but one of the guys like a George Brown or a Brandon Hendrickson or Andre Ferguson happen to show up at that show, you have no control over that, and when they win the overall, and now all of a sudden you're sitting there going, "Oh my God, I got to wait till next year." That's not a good taste in your mouth. So I like to have people prepared for 2 shows. So usually it's going to be a Junior USA's with Junior Nationals as a backup, or Junior Nationals and Universe as a backup. So they're somewhat close together, so you're not dieting for long periods of time. I also look at then take into consideration how close they are and then where they live. So obviously, if there's a guy on the west, but that's the last piece of the puzzle. So if there's a guy on the West Coast, now we're going to talk about maybe Universe and USA's or USA's and North Americans. So at least one of the shows is in his region. Other than that, I'm not really looking at how many pro cards they pass out, because if you're gonna win, you're gonna win. That's how I look in that division. If you're gonna, because for example, Junior USA's has far fewer athletes that compete, so maybe there's only 2 or 3 pro cards going out, but you're still only competing against, let's say, 100 other guys. Whereas North Americans, wow, there's 2 pro cards in each division, but now you're competing against 700 guys, or whatever that number may be. You still have to, percentage wise, your chances are about the same.
Yeah.
So you can look at it as in your division, maybe you're thinking 2 cards and there's only X amount of guys in my division. You can maybe look at that, but other than that, that's what I'm looking at. When are you ready? Giving you 2 shows, one with your first show and a backup, and then your region last.
Okay. I take into consideration their age, and I get guys that are in that 35, 36. I go, and they hit me up early on or later on. I go, we're gonna wait, and they're gonna be like, wow, I could hang with these young kids. And then I was like, no, we're gonna wait because my chances of taking you to Team U. Right after that, you got Masters Nationals, and we could wait a little bit for North American. We're going to wait. But if you want to go ahead and spend your money on Miami or USA or Junior Nationals, the chance of you going pro in Team U and the other shows are higher. So they always hit me up and say, but then again, I have to look at the body. I have some older dudes that look nasty, and I call it pretty good. Like, this guy could win Nationals in Miami, or he could win USA's. But for me, and you can call me whatever you want, I hold off my older guys till Team U. But then again, the younger dudes, I'm thinking USA in Vegas, and Nationals in Miami. That's just my younger dudes, and it's worked out for me so far. And the older dudes have hella money to spend traveling all over the place.
All right. Speaking of older dudes, I guess they say I'm an older guy, and I did a show in 2015, and I went against this younger guy, and we out on stage, and before we went out there, he had a teammate, and his teammate's like, man, that dude, he think he all of that. You know how you be backstage or whatever. And I'm looking at the dude, and he pumping up, and I'm like, man, you talking shit about him, but he hitting. So we get out there, me and the dude battling, and he said giving me an elbow or whatever, and at the time, I'm seasoned, so I take a step back, and I'm like, I got his ass. I look over, and he just took the step right back with me. He banging. Where is Chase Savoie? I'm talking about Chase. Chase has been competitive, ever since I've known him. That's the first time, I've known him. I've known him for some years now. I know he had something to go on last year at Olympia, but it's been an entire year. He's got in shape a couple times. I tried to give him a phone call. I didn't really hear back from him. I'm trying to figure out what's up. Is he, because he seems to be healthy. He seems to be dieting. He's posting on his page, but I'm trying to figure out, why is he not competing?
Two words.
Man,
Two words. Hold on, Dennis. Before you, 2 words. No clue. Cool guy. But
Chase Savoie is a guy who we should have seen at the big shows and taken that next step, battling. Chase Savoie should be battling Chiron and Gilks and Akeem Scott and all those guys. He should be in that group trying to move into that top tier. That's where Chase Savoie left off when we last saw him, as a guy who potentially could have moved into that elite status. He's nowhere to be found. Isn't it interesting? You see in professional sports, sometimes you have this starting pitcher who's been great for like 8 years, and all of a sudden, wow, he just has one of those years. He goes, how did that dude go 500 with a 4-something ERA? Or a basketball player that's been averaging 22 points a game is at 14 and a half. And you go, what's wrong with this guy? I don't know. I think it's more mental. I think there's something that's going on that is not allowing him to get out there and do what he loves to do. And I wish him the best, because he's probably one of the best guys in the entire IFBB professional league. But there's something going on.
He has a good look too. I mean, he's always had a good look. Great image. Great. His posing's good. He's one of the guys that you look forward to seeing.
Right.
No matter who I coach, no matter who you coach,
Yeah.
he always throws the whole lineup in the mix. Like I want to say he's like a Logan. Like you're like, he don't have it all, but he has something, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I miss about Chase. He's an overall good guy, all around good guy. So I'm gonna have to charge his phone.
All right, Chase, man. Chase, come back to us. Moving forward, genetics versus work ethic.
Ooh.
What is it? What is it?
Genetics versus work ethic.
That's easy.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's be realistic here. If you're talking a top tier IFBB professional league pro, as in maybe what are we gonna elite status? We would consider what, top 5 in a division, top tier, top 10, top 12.
Elite.
Right? Is that fair? If you were a top 10 Olympian, you're all those guys have good genetics. Every single one of them. There isn't a guy who's in the top 10 in the IFBB at the Olympia who doesn't have good genetics. So the difference is then the guys with good genetics who have great work ethic and put that together. Sorry, guys, but the rest of you will never beat them. You're not going to. Now, those of you who have great work ethic and inferior genetics, you're going to catch some of those guys with great genetics sleeping at different shows. When they're off, you're going to get them. You're going to be able to knock them off at tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 shows when they're snoozing through. But you ain't never going to be elite status. And that's just part of the game. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being the 11th or 12th or 15th best guy in the entire world.
Say that again.
Talking about 10,000 guys in your division. So don't ever let anyone tell you you ain't that good because you finished 12th at the Olympia when there's 5,000 dudes sitting at home watching it. Or hopefully you guys are all coming out to the Olympia this year because you're on Saturday night on a big stage, guys. Dan Solomon, I heard you heard Dan Solomon. Thank you, Dan Solomon, for making that happen. But there's nothing wrong with being the 12th or 13th best guy in the world. Nothing wrong with that. But you ain't never beaten that elite.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Never gonna happen. Okay? So let's just put that to rest.
That's tough, man. Because I mean, I coach a lot of dudes, and man, it's tough. You if you're outside of the top 10, if you're outside of the top 5, it's like, man, to me, it's like, I got their checks on the wall, and I see it every single day, and I'm like, I want that freaking first place check on my wall. And to see, look at second place, back-to-back years. I'm like, they'll even tell you like, hey, oh, I'm not number one yet. So to have Ray and Dre say, I want that fucking number one. When they say it, to me, I take it as, fuck, I still ain't good enough. No matter how dope I am, no matter how legendary I am, I'm still not number one. And to hear them, to see them, their grind, you're talking about work ethic on top of genetics, two hogs, it's motivating. So when you talk about the top 12, 15, I'm like, shit, man. I have a different perspective on being the best in the game, you know, and being best in the game is to be on top of the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to have the work ethic, period. You know, if you got the genes, that's cool. You know, I feel like I have both. But just like Mandus said, you know, it's been times where I call it Mike Vicken. You know, you catch Mike Vick at Virginia Tech, man, he don't know the plays. You know, he's just sweet. It ain't nothing you can do about it, you know. But at some point, you got to put both together. You know, you gotta know the playbook and be able to just make plays. You know, so I think you need both, but you definitely need a work ethic, and that's in anything in life. You know, so let's just get that clear. But you know, if you got the genes to go along with it, then just look up at the sky or whatever you do, and thank whoever you thank, and then put your head down and get to work. Speaking about Dre and Ray, and you got the checks on the wall to Olympia. Let's talk about the Olympia fever. We talked about it. It's Saturday night Vegas. You brought it up, and I instantly Kool-Aid smile. I've been trying to get the press conference. I've been trying to do everything that I can when Olympia come up. And, I always wanted to, do an Olympia. My first Olympia, I never forget, just going backstage, seeing all the guys or whatever, all the bodybuilders or whatever, just being a part of the whole production. The Arnold is a great production, but, it's nothing like I watched a video of Sean Ray, and he was back in the day, and he was just like Las Vegas Saturday night. So that's just something that's playing in my head, on this prep, man. I'm excited.
Yep. Getting the chills thinking about it.
So, how is are your guys back on prep, or how's that going?
They'll always say they're on prep because they never get out of shape. That Olympia's on their mind right when they get off the Olympia stage. That's right on their mind. I'm already qualified. It's on. Everything in between is just practice, So I sent Dre his blueprint a couple weeks back. He Dre, I want to start way ahead, and he gets ready way ahead. So, but again, that's the way he wants to do it, and we're doing it his way. Then I have Carlos Kaiki on Instagram. He started 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, and then Ray hasn't started yet. So they go and they tell me, "Hey, coach, when are we gonna start?" Or some will say, "Hey, coach, we're gonna start." So so far I got those three, and then I got Jamal. Jamal's in the run, but he's doing his thing right now.
And this Olympia, I think this is so exciting. This year will be historic all over again, because it's the first time the men's physique division is on the main stage. So this will go down in this year will go down in history. It's not just another Olympia for the men's physique division. That's the first thing. The second thing is, Tamer and Dan Solomon have been doing some really cool things. They took over the production this year, and those of you who know Dan Solomon, most of you guys probably have no idea who he is. He's been a part of the industry for decades. He understands production. He understands showmanship in business and the pizzazz and all the things that are instrumental to making the Olympia a grand weekend. So you guys are going to get to feel that excitement on stage. For those of you who don't qualify, we're going to announce this here first. This is actually a surprise. Maximum Muscle Report will be raffling off 2 free Olympia tickets. Okay? Stay tuned for how you can win those tickets. So you guys got to stay tuned and pay attention.
Man,
but if you don't end up winning the tickets and if you don't qualify, guys, I'm telling you, go to this year's Olympia, get your tickets for that Saturday night main event where you get to see your brethren on the big stage for the first time. Guys, what you guys have to understand is everyone who came before you has been putting in the time and fighting for this exact opportunity. And if you guys come out in droves by the hundreds, and I'm talking to you men's physique pros and you top-level national men's physique athletes who eventually know you want to or will one day make it to the Olympia, come out that Saturday night, show support, and when your division is up, you guys be the loudest you can possibly be.
Yeah.
And let all the powers that be know.
hey man,
And let the world know.
I had to look up what droves was.
Yeah. and let the world know how important this is to you guys. This is a show of solidarity for you guys and your brethren. And just think of all the guys who came before you that now this opportunity is here. And if you talk the talk, you better walk the walk. Show up Olympia weekend, buy your ticket, show support for the other guys. And the following, and I'm going to tell you, I bet this is the best year you ever have training as well, because you're going to be so hyped up seeing that. You're going to want to be sure you do everything you can to be on that stage the following year. Omar, I'm jacked up for this.
I know. You already got me.
I'm
sweating.
I'm ready to run out of the motherfucker.
I'm sweating shit.
Man. Guys, stay tuned. We will be raffling off 2 tickets. And you know,
Team Ventura, we're taking tickets. Team
Yeah.
Ventura, we're taking tickets.
George, what does it mean for you? Because there's going to be 25 of you guys on that stage. You're the one out of 3 of us who can tell us what it's going to be like to be up, man. Give us.
I mean, like I said, I was joking, but I wasn't. You know, I've gotten to do a lot of things. You know, as far as men's physique, I've been there kind of from the beginning. So this is something that I'm excited. Just like the way you just laid it out right there. That's what I need to hear. So you make sure you lay me out just like that, because I'm gonna be ready.
Yeah.
But just the arena, full of people. It's like I said, it's Vegas Saturday night. It's something different. It's something new. So if you're not up for that, if you're not ready to prep for that one moment, I'm thinking about the shit every night. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm thinking about it every night. Vegas Saturday night is what I'm thinking about when I wake up in the morning. And I mean, I can't keep on saying the same thing, but I mean, I'm geeked. I'm ready to perform. I'm ready to, I'm ready to diet. I'm ready to go through all of the processes that I need to go through, because I know that week is going to be one of the best weeks that I have, since I've been competing. So just the whole atmosphere when you're there. But normally, we get all of that and we go to the night show and it's cool. Like, oh, I'll be seeing you. We go to the night show, whatever. But I ain't gonna be in the crowd this year. We're gonna be on the stage, So it's just like, people, they say what they say about men's physique or whatever. We're on the big stage now. Come on out, supporters, just like you said, so they can see what the impact that we have in bodybuilding, not to take away from anybody else, but just to see our impact and to see that people want to see us too, and I'm just ready for it, man.
Here's the biggest thing, guys. This is for every single one of you in this division. One of the only knocks, there's 2 things that people talk about when they talk about your division if they try and knock you down.
shorts.
Don't have legs, and you don't sell tickets to the Olympia. That's the only two things. There's not there. We already can see you guys are getting, contracts and deals, and you're visible. The only two things they can say. Well, half of you guys now have wheels. You don't show them in your division, but you have them. The second thing now is you don't sell tickets. This is your opportunity to prove them all wrong. Guys, show up in droves, man. Room 3 and 4 together if you have to. If you got to stay 5 of you guys in one room to afford your tickets for that weekend, again, it shows your solidarity and it shows your belief and support in your division and your guys. Man, I can't wait. And hey,
Mandus,
me and Omar will come and come and talk to every single one of you guys too. If you guys want a few minutes of our time.
All of them. Just don't be that taller than me though.
Yeah. Hey, two free tickets, man. Another great episode. Omar, like I said, you're a pioneer of the division, man. Definitely glad to get you on. Wish you nothing but the best. I'll see you soon. You already know. If I don't see you until Vegas, man, appreciate having you. Definitely.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. And again, this sport, this division has done a lot for me, my family, your families, and all like Mandus said, come out and support the men's physique division at the Olympia because it's important. We got to make a point, prove a point, and actually become a point at the Olympia. So, right on.
2 free tickets, Maximum Muscle Report, Master Sensei, a.k.a. Omar Ventura, Mandus Buckle, the King's Court, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, next week, George, did you make that announcement? This is now
yeah. I'm
weekly.
Sorry, yeah. Weekly. Yeah, people have been asking me, about it coming on or whatever, so we're going to start having a show every week so we can highlight what's going on.
To the Olympia. From out to the Olympia every week. The race is on.
All right. See you guys later.
Fellas. Peace.